Some very lovely people in the official Evolution Square Discord have let me know that there is an official Jurassic World Evolution 2 website, and it has a gallery with screenshots. So I wanted to look at that in this video. I already analyzed the trailer as much as I can in my current state of hype, and now I just want to look at these gallery pictures from the official Jurassic World Evolution 2 website. So let's just have a quick look at that. First shot is of the Brachiosaurus. Beautiful, looks very similar to, of course, what we're all familiar with. What I'm judging right now is there looks to be some variation in the skin. I feel like the left one is a little bit darker, but not by much. I hope that that is just the natural differences within a skin, the way we see in Prehistoric Kingdom. You know, if you choose one skin, some are going to turn out lighter, some are going to turn out darker. I hope that's the case here and that it's not actually a separate skin and that we're going to get a repeat of the disappointing skins for some of the species, a lot of the species for Jurassic World Evolution, the OG one. Gone is the bright green grass of the 5 deaths that we're used to. I'm gonna try to go through this quite quickly, but we have a nice assortment of trees, and boy do I hope that it's not just a big old tree brush, but that we get placeable stuff as well. Moving on, the next one, Amargasaurus. I already caught it in the trailer, and it's really cool that they're adding this unique sauropod to the game. And here we see that it is living in a different biome. This is the desert biome. We have really awesome mountains in the background that really feel like Nevada. Very, very cool. We have cacti, different foliage. We do have some shrubbery that reminds me of the original Jurassic World Evolution. But I really hope that all of this vegetation is individually placeable. We have some rocks as well with a very light texture. I see underneath the tail of the Amargasaurus there is another dinosaur. I'm assuming another Amargasaurus. It looks to be more green than this one. It like, even though we barely get to see it, I immediately think of the wetland skin for the Nigersaurus. So yeah, maybe that's a skin variation that we get to see, but just look at the beautiful texture. And even though this skin is quite plain, there is so much detail going on in the scaling and all of the different hues within the skin tone. Really brilliant. And also what I'm excited to see is this might be kind of cruel, but I'm excited to see fencing, because in the other ones it seemed more like a nature reserve, and here I feel like we're edging more towards a park. We also see a building in the backdrop which bears a resembling to the viewing gallery, so I think that's what that function is going to be. And yeah, we have fences, and I also think we see the blue back there, that's a gate. So we have paddocks. Again, moving on, we have a Stegosaurus. This looks very different from the one we saw in the trailer, a very different skin. So very promising. This looks to be the same biome as we saw the Brachiosaurus in. It doesn't say anywhere if this is all pre-rendered stuff or if this is actual in-game capture. I think this is the level we can expect to see in the game, and you can already tell that it is quite different from what we saw in the trailer, but I think it looks very, very good. Okay, so that's the Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus, my favorite IRL dinosaur. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Looks great. Of course he does. We're back in the biome with the desert biome. We have some really shallow water in the foreground. We also see more rocks, more cacti. And what we see is the Innovation Center very clearly. And we also see what looks to be one-on-one just a viewing platform, the tall buildings from Jurassic World Evolution, the OG one. I really feel like I need to keep clarifying that. And we see, I think that's the research or fossil building as well. So we get some very similar things to the original Jurassic World Evolution. And that does make me wonder, like, how much new stuff is going to get added. What I hope we're going to see is we're going to get the base stuff that we're familiar with. So, for example, like the viewing platform and the Innovation Center and the research research building, but we're gonna get stuff on top of that. I even see the exact same flag post between the rock and the fence post. Of course, that is all to be explained by the fact that that's just what's in Jurassic World, and this game is also based on Jurassic World. But I hope that we're going to get all of the stuff that we're used to, but then a ton of stuff and customization on top of that. If not, someone's going to be very upset, and that someone's going to be me. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. But I'm gonna remain hopeful. The hype is real, but I feel like it's okay to be hopeful. Let's just be hopeful for once. After the year we've had, let's just have hope. We're gonna move on. Oh my god. I haven't seen this yet. Oh my god, wow. Wow. Okay, wow. Sorry, that's the most intelligent response you're gonna get right now. Wow! I'm leaning away from the microphone. That's not what I'm supposed to. So we get a ton of different buildings. Whoa. Yeah, so we get like a different take on Main Street. We have a really interesting architectural building at the front with the white curving roof. We have a huge structure in the back right by the lake. The familiar innovation center in between. You can definitely see the difference between this rendering and the trailer rendering. It's almost shocking to see, but I'm hoping that this is maybe a lower setting, or this is still gonna get polished. Like I said, I don't expect it to look like it does in the trailer, but I do secretly hope that it's gonna look slightly better than this. This feels like the current game on lower settings, but like I said, I want to have hope. I don't want to nitpick. I want to mostly focus on the positives. So we get a new take on Main Street. We have a lot of different buildings. I'm having a quick look. I do think I see at least one building. Two buildings are repeated. So that no, I'm gonna stay positive. It's not necessarily a great sign that the buildings are already being repeated in a single street. I even feel like one building is seen 3 times on the same street. Ooh, yikes. But let's remain hopeful. Maybe this is early on in the campaign where you haven't unlocked a lot of stuff yet. That's also possible. Keep that in mind. But yeah, we have Main Street. We have a helipad back here. That's probably ACU center. We have a different building next to that. It has solar panels, but it feels very reminiscent of the Fossil and Research Center. Again, we have the viewing platforms that we're familiar with. That big building is really, really interesting. I think it's another take on an aviary, or maybe you can place that building. Ooh, that would be exciting. Maybe you can place that building and choose a different biome to go inside of that building. So it's like an enclosure, but you can introduce a different biome within this one without it being unrealistic, because that was the argument against adding all sorts of terrain textures on the 5 deaths. They're a tropical island, so tropical islands got a tropical island. But that would be a really cool way to have multiple biomes within your park without compromising on the realism of it. Just make it a big building, the way you see in modern zoos. Like, they have desert exhibits, but they're indoors. That would be so cool if that was that. We're gonna move on. Coelophysis. Wow. Oh wow, when I just looked at the image I thought, wait, those compies look weird. I think then that in the trailer it's not a compy, it's a Coelophysis. I may have definitely misidentified that, because that's definitely the dinosaur we see in the trailer. But I thought it was Compsognathus, but it's Coelophysis. Okay. You know what's weird to me? I'm so used to the Coelophysis from Walking with Dinosaurs that I don't think of any. I can't process anything else as a Coelophysis, so this is gonna take some getting used to for me. We get some really different foliage here, which to me is suggesting that it's all individually placeable. Very exciting. That's exactly what I want. I'm gonna move on because I feel like I'm dragging on already. This really feels like the biome that's being showcased the most. So that's probably the starting biome, where we're gonna start the campaign, because I'm assuming there's going to be a story campaign again. We have separate helipads, more utilitarian buildings. This almost feels like maybe this is the part of the campaign where you're actually going to capture dinosaurs. So instead of building a park, you're going to set up a base camp and maybe go out into the wild to capture dinosaurs. And that is exactly something I mentioned in my 25 things I want in a Jurassic World Evolution sequel. I was like, okay, maybe to tie in the campaign, into Jurassic World Dominion, maybe we're gonna have to capture all of these escaped wild dinosaurs. That would be really cool if that was actually the case, where you have like a separate base camp where you have to capture wild dinosaurs and then you transfer them over to your park, or I'm guessing the angle is more going to be a sanctuary. Very, very cool. We see the same awesome biome, excitement. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so we're within the aviary. It's not the circular aviary that we saw in the trailer because we have a straight edge over here. So it does look very similar to that building I discussed earlier where I hoped it might be a different biome, but we also see that in the backdrop. So there are still a lot of possibilities. Maybe it's a standard building you can place down and you can decide to use it as an enclosure for a land animal, or you can decide to use it as an aviary. This skin is very bright on the Pteranodon. That is some bright red skin. Let's move on. Okay, so here we have a main street. We get a good look at the buildings. Ooh, I'm not sure how I feel about the way the buildings look, but what I'm thinking... Okay, so we're getting like some really exaggerated coloration, like the mint green on what looks to be a movie theater, the blue and the yellow/orange on the bowling alley. We have some purple back there across from what looks like the arcade again with the familiar arches. What I think this might hint at is that the buildings are recolorable, because honestly, looking at this, I find it hard to believe that these would be the default buildings, because especially that purple kind of hurts my soul. So I think this implies that these exaggeratedly colored elements might be recolorable, although the colors are reflected in the logo, so I'm second guessing myself. Maybe this is just the hopeful me talking, but I really hope that even though they're standard buildings, we can recolor them. The graphics are starting to get a concern here. It looks very flat, especially the buildings in the front. The Innovation Center, even though it's farther away, looks a little bit better, and the big glass building off to the right of that, even better than that. The buildings in the front, ooh, I'm not so sure about, but again, we are holding on to hope for the moment. I'm gonna move on. Here's the T-Rex. Oh my god. Kind of nitpicky, but why didn't they just spell out Tyrannosaurus Rex? Why did they shorten it to T-Rex? Doesn't matter. Ooh, we get the Jurassic Park 3 fences. Gate looks very similar to what we have, but yeah, Jurassic Park 3 fences, so that's coming back into the game. Rexy looks really great. That skin looks super detailed. Now, I'm not the most nitpicky person in the sense of, ooh, is this exactly what we see in the movie? I just look at this as a standalone T-Rex. She feels very familiar. This feels like Rexy, so even though there might be things off about it, I'm not too nitpicky about that, but let me know in the comments if this is like the best possible version of her. But I really like it. I do think a lot of people are going to have the complaint of her being even more shrink-wrapped, especially at the muzzle. I feel like this indentation is quite pronounced. Wouldn't that be, you know, a bit bulkier considering the amount of muscle that goes into a jaw like that? But yeah, I feel like she looks great, and I love the Jurassic Park aesthetic of dinosaurs, shrink-wrapped or not. Next up, we have Triceratops. Ooh, interesting skin. This definitely feels like an alt skin. Very, very cool. This is promising. Like, you know, it's still muted, but it's already a ton more interesting than the base Triceratops that we got in the original Jurassic World Evolution. Hatchery looks very similar to what we have. Not exactly the same. There are some changes, but in terms of what type of building they are going to be released from, it looks very similar. No clues yet for baby dinosaurs, but keeping our fingers crossed. And we're back at the Brachiosaurus. Alright, so that was a stroll through the Jurassic World Evolution 2 gallery. I hope you enjoyed watching these pictures with me and trying to get like little clues from them. If I've missed anything, comment down below what I didn't see. And I want to thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more Jurassic World Evolution 2 content, please consider subscribing. It would mean so much to me. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, enjoy all of this hype.